Jeff Lindesmith, trucker from Canton Central Catholic here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Happy Friday, trucker. How you doing, bud?
Happy Friday to you, Sammy.
Hey, good to hear your voice, man. How's the early summer been treating you?
It's been perfect, and we're getting a little rain over here where I'm at.
Oh, no. Okay. It's already started. Here we go. We're off and running. So, hey, before I pick your brain about the little NBA coming up here in a couple of minutes, I wanted to reach out to you. Got a couple coaches coming on today. I've got you. I got Ron Johnson from Salem coming up a little later, Scott Garcia. And I wanted to get a little insight from the coaches on the changes in the OHSAA playoff system that were announced yesterday. And a lot of folks, coaches, thought this might happen, and it did yesterday. What was your first reaction?
Well, I was kind of happy. I thought it was a good move. You think back at COVID in 2020, this is kind of what, when we voted as coaches, we knew the state wanted to expand the playoffs. We did not want to go to 16. We wanted to go to 12. We thought it would be a good move if they went expanded, and they went to 16, obviously, which, for some teams that was neat. It was a really nice idea where it came to the idea of, some schools never get a chance to get in the playoffs. They get a little excited, but if you're a 15 or a 16 seed, not too many wins out of that package. We thought if they wanted to expand to 12 would be better, which, it get your first 4 teams a bye. It has great years, but it gives an opportunity. Let's say for example, a Central Catholic that plays a real tough schedule. A lot of times we go 10, we go 11. Back in the day of 8 teams, we never would get in. I've been there long enough to know sometimes it was just 4 teams.
Yeah.
You finish 5th or 6th and have a great team, but just didn't have the opportunity. So it has a little bit to do with scheduling. I think that's nice, but you still, a top 12 is pretty good. I think it's really nice for the top 4 to get a bye. That's a huge, huge thing. And I always tell people by example, in 2016, we had our week 10, we had a bye.
That's right.
And
that's
we
right.
got a little bit of recovery time. And the only thing about the state playoffs is sometimes I worry about 16 weeks. Sam.
Me too. Me too.
I think it's a lot for a high school. It's a lot for a high school team. It's a lot for smaller schools that, say a school like us, we may have 2 or 3 really good skill kids that take kind of a beating and you got to ride them a while. And 16 weeks is really, really hard. And I look back at some of our long months we had in 2014, we weren't healthy going into week 15, week 14. I mean, we went through a grinder. And 15 was the same kind of thing. And, I don't know if your people know, but we played Coldwater 3 years in a row. In 2016, Coldwater went through a grind and weren't healthy going in, and that was only 15 weeks. And we really got a benefit of kind of staying healthy for that way. But 16 is a long, long time to play. You look at college guys, and the college coaches sometimes complain about 16 weeks of staying healthy. And I know Ryan Day had a big old article posted about how he set everything up for this long stretch of how to keep a team healthy. And that's sometimes hard for a small school.
Yeah. And trucker, I mean, colleges, they got 130, 140 kids that they can pick from.
Exactly.
Some of the smaller schools, and like your numbers are up a little bit, which is good, but you got a lot of guys going both ways too. So that's got to really weigh on the physical part of it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you really got to be careful what you do. And people, I've taught you got to practice physical. The kids have to be that way. They have to know how to play that way. And when you start getting into, week 12, week 13, week 14, or sometimes week 16, that your practice time, you got to be real careful. And sometimes I get nervous that way because, you're not practicing maybe as hard as you have been. And then come a Friday night, oh my gosh, you just worry about how you change things up, and your kids got to have a good routine to do that. But you got to keep them healthy as best you can.
Yeah, best ability is availability, right, Coach? You got to be ready to play, man. Head coach of Canton Central Catholic, Jeff Lindesmith, is our guest here on 1310 WDPN, streaming live at Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel on the Sam Bourquin Show. You know, I'm the question that I'm going to ask all the coaches, and you answered it already, and I'm interested, was how do you feel about the bye? And you answered that very eloquently. What if, let's just say, Coach, if you guys, I don't know, you get off to a slower start than maybe you'd like, and then you start catching fire maybe about week 9, week 10. You still good with that bye, or are you like, oh man, we're starting to hit that button, and now we gotta reset a little bit? How would you look at that if it happened?
You know what, Sammy, I would look at it as I would think it would be a good thing.
Okay.
And I know all us coaches are creatures of habit, and we love every week to be the same kind of thing and work. But I'm telling you, after 10 weeks or 9 weeks, if you're 10 weeks, if you can get a bye, if you can just recover a little bit and still kind of keep a routine. We kind of did some neat things with our younger kids by week 10, and we had a Super Bowl for our freshmen and JVs to kind of play, and the varsity kind of watched and coached.
Okay.
I mean, it's a great thing to evolve your program a little bit, and you're going to have some extra weeks of practice, but I would not have a problem with that. I think kids will be fine. Obviously, I would love to take it to be in the top 4 and get a bye. That would be awesome, especially with our schedule and what we have to go through for, 10 weeks. That would be great.
I was looking at some of the changes that could have been possible when they decided to go from 16 to 12, and I'm all for the 12 too, believe me. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe they shortened it back to 15 weeks. Well, they didn't. It's still 16 with the bye and everything. And then also another layer of this is you could possibly host 3 playoff games at your school if the situation would call. And obviously that's I guess the perfect season would be, you have a great regular season, you get a bye, okay, and then you roll in and you got a chance to play 3 in a row at home. After that, Coach, you're halfway to where you want to go.
Yeah, exactly. That's interesting because when I started reading on that, 3 weeks in a row, that's pretty good. I just know they have a hard time getting places to host.
Oh yeah.
You think everybody wants to host, and we've hosted a lot of games in my career over there, and it's a lot of work for the amount of money you get.
Not much cheddar at the other end, is there?
Yeah, there's not a lot of change coming through the purse there, Ray, at the end, and you got to do a lot of things to get a lot of people involved, and that's all about I understand that with the state, but I can see that. But boy, I think that would be a great advantage, especially if you have a team rolling and you get 3 in a row and you don't have to travel. And we've traveled to Kirtland for a week 1 or a week 2, and we've did all over the state of Ohio, but you could stay home for halfway through. Oh boy, that would be great.
That would be great. Jeff Lindesmith is our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Now, one thing that the fans might enjoy is instead of having the 1 versus 16 now, if you just want to go check out a game, now you get right off the rip, you get to see a 5 versus a 12, a 6 versus 11, a 10-7, and a 9-8. So I would think that would be the competition is going to take a step up than what we've seen the last couple of years with the 1 and the 16, 2-15, et cetera.
Yeah, exactly right. I think the games will be better. It'll be better for the fans. And like I said earlier, I thought, it's nice. And I've talked to many coaches that never have an opportunity to get in the playoffs, and all of a sudden we're a 15 or 16. The community got excited for, 4 or 5 days, but then all of a sudden you're rolling into a place where
reality hits.
You don't have much of a chance. Yeah,
right.
Reality hits in, and there's not too many 15 or 16s win. I think one time we might have been a 13 and went somewhere and won, but it's rare. So I think that's kind of nice, and I think it accommodates a little bit people that have some tough schedules, tough things to get into, and still there. I was kind of looking at it last night, like the Division Ones. I never could figure out. You have, everybody gets in, and I never could. All but one school,
right?
And I always thought that was kind of wrong. You had teams that were, what it was. Ignatius won 2 games, and got in.
A couple teams. I remember,
not good, but
one year Lorraine got in at like 1-9. I mean, it was bizarre. I mean, it really, when you look at a coach, like the regular season in football still, I'd like to believe at all levels, high school, college, and pro, it still means a lot. It still
Exactly.
means something. But gosh, when you're letting teams with 1 win and 2, that kind of waters it down a little bit.
And I think that the regular season means so much more about the lessons you can teach kids and get in. And, you know what I mean? It's that period of, like, we've already started. So for the next 6 months, it's about, you know, kids learning things. And sometimes it's not all about the playoffs. And what are we going to have? You know, 7 teams that win of the last game. But it's much more than that.
No doubt.
Which is great. But, yeah, I didn't like the idea of somebody like, you know, in Division I, you know, getting in at 1-9, you know, that, yeah. And I think Coach Kleinfeld always said that you better be healthy getting in the playoffs, because you're only extended the chance of going back to living one more week.
That's right. That's right. If I was a coach, I'd say, you know what, we're going to pass. 1-9. We're not coming. We're not coming.
Yeah, and you're probably going to like St. Ed's or something.
Right,
you're going,
right.
This is not going to be fun.
The kids are thinking, running clock. We'll be able to get some McDonald's by 9:30 tonight. That's how it goes.
Exactly.
We had Tim Street on yesterday, and he said that this would be a trial this year, and they'll see how things go. Kind of figure out how to word this question. What would have to go terribly wrong for this not to be extended, and what has to really go right to keep it going?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is a pretty good thing. I think people might complain about buys.
Probably.
I don't know, like the combination of things, and you're going to say, well, we just had to play an extra game. Some team's going to have a bye, but they deserve that bye. If this is the way you're going to set it up, that's fine. I think it's much more competitive from week 1 on, and I think that's fine that way. I don't know. Sometimes, Sam, I'm just going to be honest with you. Sometimes I worry about the state wanting that gate a little bit more, and I think that's why they went to 16 teams. COVID hit everybody the bad way, you know, and it all had something to do with that. But I don't know what can be wrong with this, you know, and you're going to say, well, you know, somebody's getting fresher, but that's okay. They deserve that. They're the top 4.
Yeah, you earn that. You know what I mean? You earn that, exactly. And you should be able to enjoy it and recoup. And then at the end of the day, you want the best in there versus the best, and you want the best to be at their best. And I think that's all we want.
You're exactly right. And you talk about the value of a regular season game. This is it. You know, if I have a chance to go into week 10 and you know, and win it and get in the top 4, oh boy, that would be huge.
No
doubt.
That
would be huge. And so it make probably 10 weeks a little bit more important.
No doubt. Central Catholic head football coach Jeff Lindesmith, kind enough to spend some time with us today. Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDAPN, Q92 Sports. Okay, let's put that basketball hat on, Coach.
Here we go.
Let's talk a little NBA. We got ourselves a series now. Game 4 tonight. Oh, baby, look out, OKC. If they drop one tonight, they're in big trouble.
I agree. You ever seen a team? Now, Sam, we're a big Cavs fan, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But is there ever been a team that looks more destined to win a title than the Pacers?
I agree. I hate that we lost to them, but you know what? I'm kind of pulling for them a little bit.
Yeah, me too, because they're just so physical, so fun to watch at times, but they've had so many breaks. Your chances, I'm going to go back to like Halliburton making a couple of shots. Obviously, game 2 was just a heartbreaker with the Cavs.
Yeah.
And you have no reason to lose in that game, but he gets a break and foul shots. They missed 3 foul shots under a minute and still win a game. How many times does that happen?
Never. That never happens.
Never.
Never. Not supposed
and then he goes to the Knicks and he bounces off the back rim and it goes up 10 feet and comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it drops in. I'm going, this team is just destined to win. But I'm not saying that. I mean, they're fun to watch. They're so physical. Their guards get after it defensively. And I don't know. I agree. I told somebody I thought it'd go 5 games. OKC would win it in 5, but obviously I'm wrong. But if they lose tonight, they're in trouble.
I liked OKC in 6, but I will be happy to be wrong. I will be happy to be wrong and watch Indiana.
6? Who do you think that Indiana was going to split one? You know what I mean? Like you look at 6 games, you're going, all right, when can Indiana win?
Right.
I'm like, oh man, I'm going to go 5.
I love Carlisle too. I think he's a great coach.
Oh,
I do.
He pushed everybody.
He does. You are not kidding.
You're right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. they're just destined. They just get so many different breaks, and they play so hard. I mean, obviously, you look at end of the games, what they do. They don't panic. You know what I mean? If you're talking about to the buzzer, they play every game to the buzzer.
Yep, they do. And they got themselves a shot. All right, I got about 35, 40 seconds. What's one thing our Cavaliers need to do to take it to the next level?
Sam, here we go. Oh, man. You know I'm a big NBA guy. So I'm going to tell you this. And I know he's very, very good, but people yell at me about saying this. Sometimes I worry about Garland.
Yep.
I worry about Garland on both sides of the ball. I like a physical point guard that maybe can distribute and get you 15 points instead of a smaller one. I like the two big guys together. I'm just a little bit worried about our backcourt at times. I think it's a factor. Is he healthy enough? I don't know. He's never been
healthy a lot.
No, he's never made them run. And I understand he's a very, very talented guy. Don't you agree? And people are talking about Orlando for Suggs and maybe a little bit more. I mean, he's a great player, but I don't think he's going to carry you all the way till the end of June.
No.
I don't think he ever will.
I don't think so. Russ is available.
Oh, yeah.
Russ is available.
I'm a huge Russ fan.
He's out there.
Don't shoot threes.
Right. He's available. Oh, doggone it. I wish we had more time. We got to get to the news and such, but I appreciate you coming on. Have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sammy.
I appreciate it.
To you, and I'll do this anytime with you, buddy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you. There he is, Jeff Lindesmith, the man in charge of the Crusader football program, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WD.